I am convinced that I just made the most perfect, yummy, delicious Notion content planner that you have ever seen. And this content planner actually works with the creative process most creators have. So if you're a Notion girly like me, grab your laptops, grab a pen, grab a coffee because I'm about to walk you through it. And a quick disclaimer, this walkthrough is a little bit advanced. It deals with roll-ups, relations, equations. So if you heard all of that and you were like, what the fuck is that? Don't worry because I have a super duper beginner friendly video right here. And I actually used that Notion content planner that I talk about in that video for about a year until I finally sat down and learned everything there is to know about Notion and what it has to offer. So if you are brand new to Notion and you want to learn the very basics of how to build a content planner, watch this video. But if you want this version of the content planner, don't worry, I also have the template linked below. And I am obsessed with this version because, like I said, it actually works with the creation process. Whether you're doing content for yourself, for a client, or with the team, this Notion content planner, chef's kiss. And I know I made it, but guys, it's really good. But okay, enough yapping. Let's get right into the walkthrough. Welcome to the Notion Content Planner. This right here is the main page. It's what I call the content overview, and it's where everything at a glance lives, so you can just easily come on this page and see where your content is at, a content summary, and then you can see it in a monthly view or a weekly view. You have YouTube content here, and then you have an Instagram grid inspo thing here. So I'm going to walk through everything and how I built this because I think this is just so good. Starting with the main menu, up here we have social media strategy, social media resources, a quarterly social audit, and then a content bank, and then content collaborations. I'm going to skip all of these here for a second and go straight into content bank because this is what feeds everything else. Okay, so now we're in the content bank page, and this is basically like the content Bible where all the content lives, everything falls in here, and then it gets funneled out into all the other views that you saw on the main overview page. Feel free to pause this video so you can see the columns, but basically I break up my content into two forms, short form video and long form video. So this first content bank here is for reels, carousels, static posts, and stories for TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts. If I close this here, then I can see that I have a YouTube content bank, and this one is for long form videos. Back into the short form content bank, I have a lot of content ideas here. So let's get into how to set this up. So first I have the quarter column here because I break up my year into quarters. I have the date, which is the date that I plan to post my content. I have the status, I have the account because I do multiple accounts in this content bank. And then I have the content idea, I have my content theme, content pillars, and my signature series. So this here really comes from your social media strategy, which is that first menu item that I had in the content overview page. And so once I complete that, then I am able to fill in these columns with different options. The next few columns are all about the actual content type and content format. So I have content format, reel, carousel, story, and then content type, if it's a voiceover, if it's a trend, if it's just me yapping. So these are the different kinds of content types that I do. And then for platform, we have different platforms, so Instagram, TikTok, and Shorts. And then this last column here is where the magic happens. This is a relation column that ties back to the weekly content summary snapshot on the first page that we saw. Now that we talked about the content bank, let's go back to the content overview page. I want to first show you this snapshot here. This is my favorite thing on here because it is so cool. Here it gives me a daily message with the date and affirmation and then the content overview. Then I also have buttons like content idea and quarterly update, so I can quickly add a content idea and then do my audits at the end of each quarter. But how do we set this up? I think it's easier to set up a database when you are in table view. So let's go into a table view. This looks completely crazy, but let me explain. This first column is an equation. If you have Notion AI, you can ask it to do anything and it will do it for you. So when I did this formula, I asked Notion AI to display the date in this format, then give me a daily content affirmation from the affirmation columns, and then display the content format and content ideas from these two columns over here. So if you don't pay for Notion yet, I highly recommend that you think about it just for Notion AI, because it is insane the amount of time that you save just by asking it to do certain things for you. Okay, the next column I'm going to skip for a little bit and then come back to in a second. The third column is an equation columns, and I just copied and pasted content creation affirmation quotes. I literally asked Claude to just give me like 100 or I think 300 content creation quotes, and I pasted it in here. And then this column over here is a two-way relation column that ties back to my master content bank. So each time I add a new content idea in the content bank, it automatically gets linked or it relates back to this database here. And so having that two-way relation column in this database, I now can see all of my content ideas here. That's important because I have two equation columns that count certain things for me. And so the content format here breaks down the different types of content formats I have for that week. And then this content idea summary counts how many content ideas I have for that week. And so again, because these are equation columns, I was able to use Notion AI to look at this column here and count the number of different formats I have and display them in a certain way. So I just want to test this out with you guys so you understand what I'm saying, because I know that sounds super confusing, but I promise you, once you understand how relations work, it is amazing. So let's go into my master content bank. So I'm in my master content bank database, and I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to add a new row. I'm just going to call this one content test 1. And I'm just going to skip certain columns for now. I'm going to make this one a reel. And okay, so I see that I added this already. So I automated this. So each time that I add a new row, this column here gets filled out automatically without me having to always add that in. So that's good. And now I want to add a date. So remember, this is a weekly summary. So in order for this content idea to display, it has to be within this week. So I'm going to assign it to tomorrow, and then I'm going to add another one, content test 2, and I'm going to make this a carousel. And okay, perfect, it's there. And then I'm going to assign this for Wednesday. And then I want more, content 3, and let's just make this a story because I don't think I had story in the summary yet. And then we're gonna assign this tomorrow. So now if this works correctly, my content summary should reflect these new content ideas that I just added. Perfect. So now I see that I used to have 8 content ideas for this week, and now I have 11, and now it is capturing my one story plus the reels that I added in the carousel. So all of this is working nicely thanks to that relation column. So this view looks crazy. I like to have it in a gallery view. and you can change views by going to layout and clicking the different views. I love gallery, so I'm going to keep it in the gallery view. So the other parts of this overview page are just views of the same database. So let's open this up here. This view is a board. When you have a board view, you can group by certain things. So in this board, I am grouping by stage. So I have idea stage, scripted, film, edited, ready to post, and then posted. And then here I am grouping by platform. And this section here is great if you're working with a team or you're working with the client and they just want to see, okay, what content is in the scripted stage, what content is ready to post, what content is being edited, and so on. Now we're down here, and this is, again, 2 different views of the master content bank. So here we have a monthly view and a weekly view. This is a list view, and it's filtered to display only the content ideas that do not have a date. This is actually really helpful if I'm like, okay, what content ideas did I have that I still haven't thought about or scripted or whatever? I can quickly come here and look at this and then go, okay, I need to plan this one for a Sunday. Okay, so moving on to the Instagram grid inspo. This is an inspo board. This is not meant to be a grid planner because personally, I cannot plan another thing on top of planning content. And the way that I do this is with Canva. Let me quickly show you how to do this. Here I have the Instagram grid on Notion, and it's just the image blocks. I realize that this is squares and it's not the right ratio that Instagram uses, but it's okay. I'm just using this as an inspo grid, not to like actually plan my grid. Okay, so once you set up your grid, whether you do squares or you do the right ratio, you will go to share, you will go to embed, and you will copy the smart embed link. So then back in Notion, I would just find the embed option, and then I would paste my link, embed link, and there is my beautiful grid. But the black looks ugly, so I'm going to just resize, and yeah, there we go. And so the last thing that I have here is the YouTube content that I have to post for the month. And these are just like some YouTube thumbnail inspo so that I know when I'm recording, I need to get a shot of me looking like these ladies here, which I actually love their YouTube and their content. So go check them out. And that's really it for the content planner. The other tabs that I had in the main menu are things like the social media strategy, which is a step-by-step guide on how to build your social media strategy. And then I have a quarterly social media audit, which is just a step-by-step guide on how to audit yourself at the end of every quarter. And then the last thing on main menu is a content collaboration tracker, which is pretty much self-explanatory. This is just where you track any content collabs you may get. So if you guys do get the template, it does come with everything that I just talked about: the content planner, the social media strategy, the quarterly update, the social media resource database, and the content collaboration tracker. Okay, that was a lot of content talk. So if you guys have any questions at all regarding social media, content, or the Notion content planner, leave a comment below or send me a message on Instagram. And if anybody wants like a fundamentals to Notion 101 video, let me know because I am happy to do that for you. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll see you guys next week for a brand new video. Peace.